Well, here we are back in Mittenrahm once again. We are still at the Battle of Valmorel. It's still not actually finished, although I've moved away from it for the time being. There are a few bits and pieces still to add, but we'll get to that. So, as far as the ground is concerned, I've done a little bit of dressing up, tidying up, replaced the ordinary tree with a big guy. The third AT-AT went in. Fairly pleased with how the legs came out. It's a very awkward thing to do, particularly on this scale. Oops. I mentioned wanting to try and recreate one of the more memorable poses of the AT-AT from the Battle of Hoth. This is about as close as I got. I couldn't find an image online of the exact pose, so I kind of had to go from memory, trying to figure out where the legs ought to be. I stayed away from angling the body, and in the end I decided not to angle the head either. But we do have this guy biting into it, and very peculiar. I'm not sure I even knew this, but the lights have, I don't know, turned the mud into clay. I don't know why it's done only these two. It should have converted these two as well. And I mean, I don't know. These other two, I mean, yeah, it's like, why not these blocks? I don't get it. I meant to look it up, but yeah, kind of weird. So that has had some tweaking, taking the multiple stabs at smoothing out the body. I think I'm much closer than I was. I'm putting these little streaks showing the corruption, trying to help sell it better. I'm now leaning toward the idea that it may be Dagath was exposed to the demon's brain rather than the head or the skull of the demon. I think this may be somehow related to it. I did mean this is actually not supposed to be finished. I put it in, kind of was like not liking it, kind of couldn't figure out what to do with it, kind of just sat there, and now I'm looking at it and it's like it's not that bad. So the other thing that's now been added are these guys. This guy is in the process of winding himself up for a launch. And then so 3 others. I think this is my favorite. This one's got kind of a what vibe to it. These are corrupted. Most of the elemental things in the biome were corrupted when Dagath was taken down. So I've called these Angy roots. ANGY, and then probably RHOOT. Possibly U's instead of O's. Something a little bit more unusual. And yeah, this was the first one. But yeah, I feel like I don't know. I really like I nailed the pose with this one. I didn't have anything in particular in mind, but I just feel like he's so dynamic compared to the others. And even the guy winding up's kind of a little... this one's not too bad. But the guy winding up's a little awkward. So in terms of what's actually missing, I'll probably deal with this first. So I had an idea for some yellow mushrooms. I originally experimented with endstone. That's why those are down there instead of the white, that is. I saw it in somebody else's stream. Not really happy with the results, which is why I got they changed back to the normal combination. Really don't like this, it's far too thick. Let's try that. Oh, that's much better. Yeah, I did this guy as well. This is not a tree, and this is just an ordinary tree, a large tree anyway. So yeah, the plan was to start doing this throughout this section of the Valmorel, just wherever there was space, although it is very crowded, and there really wouldn't be a lot of room for it. But I have an alternative, which we'll get to in a second. The only thing missing here in terms of the fighting is the power bikes and the two-seater vehicle that I've done. I want to put those in. I keep thinking about doing another one of these, but I can't say I'm super pleased with the result. It just feels off. I don't know. It's sort of got it's got a little bit of a charm to it, but it's just yeah, it needs work. But for the time being, I moved over to here. So for quite some time now, I had been considering what to do with the desert, because it's sandwiched in between all of this work. And I was leaning towards just a non-granite temple structure, probably here, stretching up. Could possibly still do it. I may actually need something because of what I'm about to explain, actually. So I used the fill command. I did small areas at a time. I didn't go crazy trying to do the whole lot at once. I wanted a little bit more control over it, but I'm not really sure how much of this I want to change. But this is going to get more of these trees. I put in the mangroves already. I'm going to put in the big ones down this side. There's going to be structures across here. And then I'll put in even bigger ones. This guy didn't come out the way I wanted. I've modified him a couple of times. It might be nice if it was off of the ground here, and then touching and then rising. And then what I can do actually is lift it up here some more so that there's more space. The only problem is I'm implying it's a giant mangrove tree, but I don't imagine a mangrove tree would grow in this location because they thrive in saltwater environments, part of the evolutionary adaptations of the mangrove tree. So really, this probably is not a place where you would find mangrove trees at all anyway, so it may be all mute. So, but I also had long since planned a sphinx. I hadn't liked the idea of the sphinx partially sticking into this area while the rest of it was in the desert, and so it would be like mossy here and then dry out as you went back. Obviously with the modifications it was all going to be mossy, and while I was building it I just decided it had to have wings, and then I decided I would have to add a tail. It's slightly dragon-like now, but it's possibly an elemental lord, or the statue of an elemental lord anyway, possibly the father of Dagath, or all of the elementals. I'm not super clear where this guy actually would be right now, in terms of like the continuity. Dagath would be obviously not long for this world, or the corrupted Dagath. He might be very far away from here now, I don't know. But this is where I've got to, and I've obviously got some big questions still to be answered about where I'm going with this. This feels like it can make a really nice piece within the mud. I've never actually been in a mangrove biome because of the age of the world. So I'm actually guessing about what this should look like. It's obviously not all mud. I'm not sure where the grass would be, how much of it is grass. It seems a little silly to have such a high mud mound. But you know, I need to use the fill command on this again. Get rid of the. You can see how it done a nice even bit. But yeah, that's what I've been doing. Let's just say adieu, and well, I'll see you next time. So here's an addendum, because I forgot to talk about them earlier, even though I was looking straight at them at one point. So these three guys, these are Mark II Scorpions, and then Mark I is a Roman, somewhere over there. I put in a structure block, brought it over here, made some modifications, and then reproduced it using the structure block again. And this guy, on the other hand, is the Cal 50, the Jarrett Cal 50, Goose Bomber, I think I went with. It's modelled after the work of Jarrett 50 Cal, another Minecrafter. Find him on Twitch under that name. I modified his design a little bit, partly to match my own work, but also making it a slightly weaker vehicle. He had an additional engine on either side, longer wings. I think the body was longer too, and more guns. I just stuck with the 3, but I did add a loading bay, bomb bay rather. I'm not sure what I did the first time, but for some reason the yeah, I'm not actually sure how this would work properly, but just wanted to show them before I forgot again.